All editors know how to make a cut, but very few know why to make a cut. And understanding the why took me from grinding away on low-paying editing jobs to making $1 million from editing before the age of 30. So in this video, I'm going to share my simple framework that you can use to find the why behind any edit, so you can level up your editing career faster than I did, like my student Guzman, who booked his first 5-figure editing gig after going through my program. First, I'm going to show you the one thing that keeps most editors stuck in their careers. I struggled with editing for 4 years before landing a gig, and here's why. I was obsessed with software and the technical side of editing, so I had lots of knowledge, but none of it landed me the type of editing gigs I was looking for. Until I met a mentor who taught me that great editing is all about the why, not the how. And if you're interested in having your own editing mentor, click the link in the description to check out my editing program. I call my framework Ezra, spelled E-S-R-A. Let's start with the E. In his classic book, In the Blink of an Eye, legendary editor and one of my editing heroes, Walter Murch, said emotion is the top editing criteria. But in the book, he didn't really give us a roadmap to put that into practice, so I'm going to do that here. First, we're talking about the emotion of the audience, not the characters in the scene. Second, if you want to make the audience feel something, you should know what that feeling is before you touch your timeline. So the E in Ezra is emotion. For each cut, I want you to ask yourself, what do I want the audience to feel in this moment? Let me show you exactly what I mean with examples from my own work. I'm going to show you 2 different shots from 4 different scenes, along with the emotion I was trying to target in each one.
When Camilla and I went to Uvalde, the parents and the family members of the children that were killed asked for one thing: make their lives matter. Well, let's make sure that the first bill passed in 28 years to help protect all of our children in schools matters.
So step 1 is to write down a target emotion for each scene before you touch your timeline. Now let me show you the S in my Ezra editing framework. Once you have a target emotion, it should sort of act like a North Star for all the rest of your editing. So you can pick and choose whatever editing techniques you have at your disposal to hit that target emotion. And one of the first decisions you make when you sit down to edit is your shot selection. Every time you add a shot to your timeline, ask this question: does this shot move the story forward? If the answer is no, cut it out or replace it, no matter how beautiful the shot is or how much effort it took to get the shot. Here's why. If a shot is not moving the story forward, it's hard to hit your target emotion because the audience is going to be feeling a different emotion, likely boredom or confusion, and that will kill your edit. So the S in my Ezra editing framework is story. Now I'm going to show you those same clips, but this time I'm going to share how each of them move the story forward.
Well, let's make sure that the first bill passed in 28 years to help protect all of our children in schools matters.
So step 2 is to only select shots that move your story forward. And if you'd like me to personally help you use story to create emotionally impactful edits that land you high in jobs, click the link in the description to check out my editing program. Now let me show you the R in my Ezra editing framework. So you have your target emotion and you only have shots in your timeline that move the story forward. the next most powerful technique that editors have access to evoke a target emotion is shot duration, especially as the duration of the shot relates to the other shots around it. One way to measure shot duration over time is in cuts per minute. Now, this is an oversimplification, but let's say you want your audience to feel calm. Well, then you might have a pattern of longer shots or fewer cuts per minute. Or maybe you want the audience to feel anxious. Well, in that case, you might have a pattern of faster shots or more cuts per minute. In editing, we call this pattern of shot duration rhythm, and that's the R in Ezra. Let me show you what I mean with those same clips. This time, I'm going to share the cuts per minute for each sequence. See how the cuts per minute relates to the target emotion.
When Camilla and I went to Uvalde, the parents and the family members of the children that were killed asked for one thing: make their lives matter.
So step 3 is to choose a rhythm that evokes that target emotion. Now let me show you the A in my editing framework, Ezra. Now if you get the emotion, story, and rhythm right in your edit, you're already in the top 1% of editors. And even if you make mistakes after that, the audience will likely forgive you. But there's another step that will add a high-end polish to your edits, and it's being intentional about where you cut in and out of shots. Here's what I do. I cut in at the start of an action, and I cut out after an action has completed. And within most shots, there are many different actions to choose from. But since you've already established a rhythm, you should have an idea of your ideal shot duration. So you can choose actions for your in point and out point based on how long you want the shot to be. So the A in my Ezra editing framework is action. Let me show you what I mean from those same 4 scenes, but this time I'm going to pick one shot from each of them and share what I saw as the action I cut in on and what action completed to signal me to cut out. Here, I'm cutting in on the action of Matthew McConaughey stepping forward.
When Camilla and I went to Uvalde, the parents and the family members of the children that were killed asked for one thing.
And I cut out after he completes the action of putting his hands on the desk. Here, I'm cutting in on the action of the hero looking up to the rocket. And I'm cutting out after the camera finishes tilting up to the rocket. Here, I'm cutting in on the action of the boy bringing his head up. And here I'm cutting out after the boy finishes looking left. Here I'm cutting in as the boy starts to pull his arm back. And here I'm cutting out after the boy lowers his arm after the throw. So step 4 is to cut in at the start of an action and to cut out at the end of an action. And if you'd like to practice my Ezra framework on projects designed to land you high-end editing jobs, click the link in the description to check out my editing program. Now you know the simple 4-step framework to uncover the why behind every edit, but it won't help you advance your career if you don't know the 5 places your editing income might be stuck. So watch this video next to find out what those are and how to fix them. Happy editing.